Now we take a look at an acclaimed program that supports artists who turn discarded items into diverse and significant works. Special correspondent Kat Wise has our report. It's part of our Canvas series on arts and culture.
In a drab industrial building in San Francisco, a lively crowd of art enthusiasts gathered recently for the opening of an exhibition. In many ways, it was a typical art show. Pieces were studied and discussed.
I love these colors.
But the work on display was not typical. Every material used, from the colorful paints to the wood frames, came from a site just steps away, the city dump.
My process is always messy and dirty, so it wasn't really too far of a stretch for me.
Mark Basasaki was one of the 2 local artists featured. His creations were the culmination of a 4-month artist-in-residence program at San Francisco's waste and recycling company, Recology.
So that piece is called Mule, and it was humorous, but it's also thinking about travel and migration, what people carry with them.
For nearly 30 years, this unique program, which is funded by the company and ratepayers, has been a well-loved part of the Bay Area art scene. But in recent years, the message that emerges from the art about our consumption and waste habits has taken on new urgency as the city strives to divert 100% of discarded items from landfills. About 170 professional and student artists have gone through the competitive residency. They are given a studio space, a small monthly stipend, and access to an area of the dump known as the Public Recycling and Reuse Area.
Here at San Francisco's Recology Waste Processing Facility, 3,000 tons of garbage, recycling, and compost materials are discarded every day. Like most dumps, it's smelly and dirty, but it is here where the artists find a treasure trove of materials.
As we followed along, Basasaki and fellow resident artist Leah Rosenberg found several interesting items they pulled from the heap.
Is this handy?
Yeah, actually. Yeah. No dice. It's a toy.
What was the scavenging process like for you?
Overwhelming at times. When we first came, there was very high activity. I think there were a lot of building projects. I'm from San Francisco, and a lot of the houses that I grew up in are a lot of those materials that are kind of showing up here. You become excited about those materials, but you're also thinking about how the city is changing, and you're thinking about all these different things as you're out there. So it's a very layered experience.
Over the years, all types of art have been created from San Franciscans' trash. Sculptures, including a life-size Hummer made of styrofoam, prints, large installations, puppets, fashion, and even a symphony performed on instruments made from discarded items.
We can get people excited about recycling because we're not pounding them over the head, telling them to recycle. They come to the opening and they see that the artists have transformed these materials, and so hopefully we're transforming their habits and their minds.
Deborah Monk is the director of the program.
So this project has been really exciting.
She says while one of the main goals is to reduce waste, the art that is created should be taken seriously.
We're not a junk art program, we're not a found art program, we're an internationally renowned art program where many of the artists have never worked with found materials, and so this is their first experience, and so they have a challenge of, they don't get to go out and buy what they need, they have to respond to whatever comes their way.
For artist Leah Rosenberg, whose love of color is evident in all her work, what came her way caught her by surprise.
So 3 weeks into the residency, I found my own personal garbage.
The year before, Rosenberg had created an installation at a local museum with vibrant cakes. The stands were discarded by an independent vendor and had found their way into the trash before her.
I had to take a moment to think, does this mean it's a moment where I have to just watch them go? Or is this sort of a responsibility as an artist to turn this thing into something beautiful and lasting? And I picked the second.
She managed to get 40 of the original 80 stands out, and their tops became her canvas.
I was inspired by watching the staff at the Household Hazardous Waste mix the paint, and all of the colors were mixing in together, but not as a whole solid. My goal then was to just make the most beautiful and lasting series of paintings that I could.
Recology now has similar programs in Portland and Seattle. And in San Francisco, a new crop of artists is turning trash into treasure. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Kat Wise.
A symphony from instruments created from the trash. You have to love it.